Zakaurinagamba tosobola.
Chikumi.
And you have been hiding for like 2 years.
Enough transit for you to bring you back every day.
Yeah.
every week of every day of the
I
week.
can buy flowers.
The track is standard.
My
Number
person
is
in
now
February.
accessible.
Ernest made me bring flowers for him at the airport. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done in my life.
Why are you?
I am laughing.
Guys, we're here for the Kawowo Weekly Sports Updates. We are not yet sure of the name. From within the team, we zeroed on.
Wowos. Latest Wowos.
Latest Wowos. We're still not.
Weekly Wowos.
Weekly Wowos. Where does that come from? I think Mike picked it from somewhere. It sounded like the rugby people are more familiar with that.
It's see, there's like a genzification of most of these things. So Kawowo didn't exactly roll off the tongue very well for the fancy people. So they said there's some flavor, there's some Wowos, and that's what we've been going with.
It started I think in Ginger. In Ginger when we were running two campaigns almost at the same time.
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
Yeah, I
the
think
rugby
so.
fellows were wondering how it was happening.
Yeah,
We're doing so many. We're cooking so much that weekend. We had, I think, rugby in Ginger. We had either we're streaming three different rugby
Ginger
games.
And I think at Legends.
And at Legends as well.
Yeah.
So everyone was wondering how we are able to cook from all
Places at the same time.
all places at the same time. I won't talk about our competition because we're cooking on one channel. But anyway,
Were they even cooking?
no, we're talking about Gen Z. There's that thing where they say when your competition what sings for people on birthdays. Who posted that? I think it was KFC.
Yes.
So
And drums.
I'm just saying. But guys, every week we want to do this for you. We're going to be previewing the best stories that you've read on our website. That is, of course, your kawosports.com. Tell us what you think about it. What do you want us to talk about? And we have the experts with us. So shall be having different guys from the team. We have the football guys, but this week we'll start with our resident rugby specialist and expert, Mr. Ernest Akorevirunji. Raymond will do the rest. Yay! And of course, we have Frank. He should be our boss, right? Because before the stories that you see on the website, before they are up and live, Franklin has to go over them and make sure everything is right. But he's
the English.
organized. But he is also our resident basketball expert.
Yep.
I think Kyle will have an issue with that. But anyway, you came first.
Learning from the best.
You came first. Franklin Kawero, the editor of Kawowo Sports, with us. So, and of course, should I introduce myself? Ernest, please.
This is Mr. Dennis Musali, former Uganda international, Uganda under 20 international, Uganda cricket cranes, wicket keeper.
World Cup appearance.
Reached the World Cup as well. Went twice, two-time World Cup appearances. And Wanderers champion, current cricket
T20.
champion.
Continue, please.
The little cricket that I know, it should be a lot more than that, to be honest, the time I've spent with you. The little cricket that I know is credit to you. We can comfortably say we have the cricket expert in the country here at Kawowo.
I'm starting to forgive you for those flowers that I brought. But and before we got on here, we're watching Uganda winning against Singapore by 8 wickets. So every week we shall be doing this. But for starters, we need a name. Wowos updates for this week, right?
Wowos weekly
Wowos weekly updates. Weekly Wowos. Okay.
We will try to be here every week because given that Uganda is international in sports and sometimes people are like, oh, international. Maybe on a certain weekend, maybe one of us is not around. Maybe there's an event happening anywhere here in Uganda or internationally. One of us could not be around, but the team is big, so there will be people.
A bigger team, most certainly. You'll be able to see so many of the faces that write the amazing stuff.
Reading stuff from.
Yes, exactly. That write the amazing stories that you read on Kawowo Sports. So for this week, it's just the three of us, but there will be so many other people coming to feature, especially considering what we want to talk about each and every week. So we hope that you like it. This is the first of so many. And we hope to make sure that we cook this content and you enjoy it very, very much.
And obviously, the feedback is always welcome from you guys who are watching. We appreciate everything that you're going to be giving us.
Yeah, most certainly. The feedback is very, very important, especially on what you want us to talk about. Did you read the story and maybe you didn't get the context? What we are going to do on this show is mostly to give context to some of the stories that make the news on our website.
Yeah, obviously, when you start like this, you want you want you want to have as many guys giving their feedback on everything that we are talking about, on the stories. I mean, what needs to be talked about, what made your week, what big story you think made your week,
Yeah.
and
Something that has been long overdue because we write some amazing stuff and maybe people don't have a way of putting the faces to the stories.
I think we've had some. We've had Chibanda Pandits, we've had latest updates. My favorite, my personal favorite.
of course,
the challenge has always been the consistency, and that's now on us. You know, just need to see how best we can keep it going. But like people say, the most important thing is just start going. Then you will you cross the T's, dot the I's once the thing is already there. Not in looking for a perfect start. Just get going, then we'll see. We'll clean up from there.
cool. Maybe I'll start first. Randomly, what was your biggest story this week?
I think for me, this is not. It's a very sad day, sad week for Ugandan rugby. We lost one of our colleagues, one of our players, Ronnie Kayondo of the Company Eagles Rugby Football Club. Yesterday lost his life at Kampala Hospital, and this followed a head injury that he sustained in the game between his team Eagles and Toyota Buffaloes at Chadon on Saturday evening. He was taken to hospital, attended to by, I think, the best in the country. The scans, surgery was done as well. But unfortunately, he couldn't make it on Sunday, and he passed away. We lost him. We lost Ronnie Kayondo. He was one of those guys who, not so, explosive, not so
Flashy.
flashy. Like those who are close to him are the ones who knew him most, because you just can't play, chill guy. But of course, there are moments when you would recognize him. And I remember at the start of the season when we watched Eagles versus Victoria Sharks, who were there, Mr. Msari and some of the members of the Kawowo team.
Yeah.
There are some moments that you might not remember him exactly, but when I walked through the photos, I saw that we had some moments of him playing. And yeah, we mourn with the Eagles guys, with Uganda Rugby Union, but most especially his friends and family who have lost a young man in such a tragic incident.
Yeah, and Anders mentioned it yesterday at office when he mentioned it. Sounded casual in the beginning, but then it hits you a bit later when it is when you know it is a serious issue that someone has passed away, especially doing what they love. When people die in sport, I don't want to say that in war it is expected, but when people die when they are playing a sport, then you start to think about so many things, like, is it a safe sport? But I mean, rugby is a contact sport. Ultimately, unfortunately for him, he couldn't come through. You'd expect that he got the best care. Everything was done. I had the CEO speaking about it, that the procedures were taken care of, rushed to hospital, immediately went into surgery. And, in that moment, everyone expects you to recover, and then maybe they will even see you playing again. I think this is just one of those that...
I believe he got the best fighting chance to come out, but ultimately, that's not how events proceeded, and we shall have to bid him farewell. There's a vigil today at his home in Nabingo, at their family home in Nabingo, and then in Kadugala, Mirembe, that's where the burial is going to be tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, condolences to the Company Eagles family, as well as the rugby fraternity. Someone mentioned that, I think I saw it online, someone saying that maybe there should be some sort of psychological support even for Buffaloes.
Yeah,
the team
all
as
the
well.
involved need it.
Yeah, because you don't want to come we were arguing about it in a certain group where I said that rugby is not faint-hearted, and saying that if you're faint-hearted, that's what gets you, knocked in a bad way. So you always have to go all in. when you're playing rugby. But no one should think that rugby is not a safe sport. It's just one of the things that really happened.
Yeah, safety is always paramount, but unfortunately the risk is there. And yesterday we had, Saturday, Sunday, we had one of those sad moments in the sport. But may his soul rest in peace, and I hope they, like, people can, go through this process, can pull through the process in the best way possible, and for us to give him the best send off that he deserves.
I for one, I actually I wouldn't mind if the union actually decided to move games this weekend, just for the honor of the young man, or just to get some players who are involved get their heads back straight together in the game. I really wouldn't mind having this weekend games postponed at all.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing. I mean, this is where Edgar Kaziwa and the rest of his crew get in business, just trying to, to speak to the players, everyone involved. Because on that weekend there were games all over the country, and you're thinking maybe most of us were at Kings Park watching Pirates and Heathens, and this was at Kayondo. What happened was at Kayondo. So, but I mean, very, very, even the way you speak about it, Ernest, can just show the emotion in everything. So, but may he so rest in peace, Ronnie Kayondo, and hopefully, I've seen a tweet from Zeno that summarizes it very well, that he's joined the best rugby team in the world, which is Heavens FC. So, he's just gone ahead of us, and we hope that he continues being a number 10 in Heavens FC.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Franklin, your best story for the week? You're the one who looks through all of them.
Yes.
Absolutely. Nothing gets better than a team qualifying for AfroBasket. Gazelles returned to AfroBasket after beating a sworn enemy, Egypt. And as first as a Ugandan, you have to be proud. As a basketball fan, even more. And as a person who understands the game, whatever went into that game to get the better of Egypt, who won, well facilitated, have the facilities and all that. It makes me proud of a coach who I've seen almost from ground up. I've seen Atweza grow his coaching craft from when he started at UCU to now that he has taken the team to the AfroBasket. I mean, it is a proud moment for a basketball fan, for a Ugandan basketball fan. To get one over Egypt, who came here and beat us the last time. There was a qualifiers for the AfroBasket. They beat us at Ulgogo, so it was very good payback for Gazelles to beat them, and convincingly. When you beat a strong enemy like that convincingly, it doesn't get any better at all.
Before we go very far, Kambuzenga Fala, what exactly is AfroBasket? Because zone 5, zone 1, but what is AfroBasket?
AfroBasket in football terms is the AFCON of basketball.
So we are going to AFCON.
AFCON of basketball, yes. The women's AFCON of basketball.
Well done, Gazelles. Well done.
Very, very proudly associated with the Gazelles, and every evening we're watching those games at office, just trying to keep up.
Their games, yeah.
But I saw Franklin actually following that game with a couple of other guys at Kings Park immediately after Pirates had, of course, done the business against
I
Heathens.
rushed home to watch the Gazelles. It was to watch. I like to watch TV rugby on TV so that I can hear the commentators, the referees, and what. And
commentary, so not so much of it to pick out from what anyway, for the few games I've watched, it wasn't so captivating as,
but
it wasn't
I
as
mean,
good as BAL
for the rugby. For the rugby, so I rushed home. Then I realized that midway through watching England versus France on Six Nations, there was bigger interest in the Gazelles, and when I checked, I saw the Q1 score. I was like, I cannot miss this game, so I watched the Gazelles at home.
Well,
and what a masterclass the girls stand on for that one. Obviously, they had faced off in the group stages with Egypt. For people who are a bit faint-hearted, they would say Egypt will help you to that group.
When Franklin starts on basketball, I want to park him there because we're going to come to that big story. He may not stop.
Some guys may feel that the group meeting was a bit helped by the refs for Egypt, but when you get a chance to play again, the same opponent, of course, you made your.
And I'm sure I'm going to ask you about that because you guys kept mentioning it about the
Yeah.
refereeing. But for me, just to tell you guys before we get into the gist of the matter, my best story last week was the summary of the transfers that was done
In the Uganda Premier
in the
League.
Uganda Premier League from the football team, Joe Moita, Ismail Kyong, and David Isabili.
Yeah.
Of course, very, very good summary there. Tells you how the second round is going to, of course, Vipers leading the table now. Maybe I'll just pick out one or two transfers that I thought, okay, could change the fortunes. Our boss, his team signing as many as how many?
Bali Heroes.
Signed almost a whole team.
Signed almost a whole new team.
Bali Heroes have been very busy this season. They have changed coaches.
I'm surprised Joseph Ewino hasn't signed.
The first time I came to Kawowo in 2019 and I met Joseph, I went back and Googled Joseph Owino, and I found that there's a Joseph Owino. I think before he tried to organize the YouTube, because Joseph Owino knows computer things. When you Google Joseph Owino, the Wikipedia that would come would be a footballer. This man also plays football. Okay. At a high level.
Good height for a centre back. Or
those
not even
touch merchants.
Yeah, exactly.
Clear the ball. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Barry Heroes signing as many as 12 players, but I thought
at the start of the season, he predicted that Bali Heroes would win the Premiership title, Mr. Joseph.
Someone should bring out that prediction from the Kawowo team.
I think maybe those 12 signings maybe could change their
In his defense, he
fortunes.
thought he was picking Vipers, but anyway, who knows? But I think Ogwang moving from Police, I think big deal there for Vipers, and Umarutal also joining KCC. I think for me those are the pick of the transfers for me. There were others, so quite many, but I thought for me those were the two signings that you felt could turn the fortunes of either team.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Ogwang moving, I mean, there's hype around him, but obviously it is very hard to score goals in our league, but the hype around a 6-goal scorer, I don't understand it, really. I don't understand it.
The buy is too low.
The buy is too low. And obviously, I don't want just to focus on...
How many goals did Shaban get last season? 17?
16, 17?
16, 17 for KCC.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get 6 in half the season, you're thinking that when you go to
get
bypass, better supply and things like that, maybe you add another 10.
Yeah.
That gets you to 16.
I don't know. You're going to Vipers, but there is already a golden boy there who probably the whole team is working for. I don't think you're going to a place where you're going to supersede what Alan is doing. I think he's the go-to guy right now. I don't think that is going to change. But of course, when you have a threat up front, it helps a lot.
And then also for those of us who consume football as a bit of a, by the way, I support the Mbara City Lions.
Really?
Because that's where I come from, really.
Really?
So if I don't choose Barara, my parents will be making phone calls.
Chasing you from KCC.
And then
We are chasing
KCC
you.
when I came to Kampala. But I think the biggest news... The biggest news in the transfer season,
man's supposed
for
to
sure,
two city teams.
Must have been, and I don't want to mince my words here. The biggest news must have been Bebe Cool's son leaving Express and going to.
Oh yeah,
he's
got lost somewhere in Europe and came back to Uganda.
Yes,
Maybe
the
everyone
news
thought
was
he
not
would end
about
up
the footballer, and he's a good footballer. Because we watched him
most
at
definitely.
the African Games in Accra, Ghana, last year. He was. I think I want to believe that at
the last time
Express
I
he was
watched
doing well,
the last time I watched Express KCCA, the game where we won 4-3, he gave us a torrid time on the wing.
He's a decent footballer.
He's a good enough footballer.
Yeah, he's a decent footballer. Just that I think people judge him based off what the father said. You see, the father almost.
Maybe people need to separate the two. He's the child from the father, and then they will judge him on his own merit.
But the father is not a footballer. It's not Cristiano Ronaldo and Cristiano Ronaldo Jr.
But I mean, the father talks big. How the son it's too good.
Like any father would do. Like any father would do.
Of course, but you wouldn't hold him. You should be sometimes realistic. I think not put a lot of pressure on the kid to deliver, because when he doesn't, and you have talked this big I mean, you're putting him into people's targets.
He's joined the next team that is pushing for the title, so maybe that's more pressure to perform.
And Mbalangu has the head coach of NEC has explicitly come out to say that he's going to make the boy deliver, and he's not worried at all.
Nick.
Actually, to put it to paraphrase it in Uganda, what he said. Omwana agenda samba omupiira mu NEC gwe mutalabangako.
Okay. Yeah, like the FA president likes to say, tutegere omupiira.
Franklin, what does Umar Wetaro bring to KCCA from Chitara?
In the middle of the season when goals started coming not so well for KCCA, in one of the interviews, I think it was after the game against Bright Stars at Kavumba, head coach Abdullah Mubiru said that one of the biggest problems is players not applying themselves, and two, the lack of goals, the lack of scoring. I think Sibambi has not been delivering enough, and at that time, Usama Arafat was just regaining his form back. He had been out with injury and was just coming back. So when you get Lutalo, you're adding onto your front line, and the creativity of KCC is there. What has been lacking is the conversion of the chances that they create, and you want to build that. If Umar Lutalo turns to the one that was at Villa last season, goals are going to come in, and you expect better performances, especially in front of goal for KCC.
Okay, we'll see about that. The league returns starting tomorrow. Some big games, Viper taking on KCC. I mean, Vipers taking on URA in Nachivubo, I think. And then KCC this week will be playing on Thursday. I've just forgotten the team they're playing. But the league returns this week, and of course it had stopped because we thought AFCON Chan was going to happen. Then, of course, it was moved to August, so the league returns this weekend. Should be some interesting games. But when we have the football experts, they will, break down that nitty-gritty and detail. Yeah. For us, we are just fans, and like Hannes has said,
just
maybe
to
take it on Peter. So I'll get you guys to talk about the things that you know the most. Where do I start? Who's the happier man?
I'm a happy man.
Yeah, Hannes is a happy man. His Pirates team managed to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, I would say.
Ooh.
I walked in when it is 31-9.
Yeah.
And first of all, at Kings Park, I think you need to get a scoreboard. Everyone wasn't sure. Honestly, I wasn't sure about the score. Everyone was just guessing. Everyone was just
happened for I think 3-4 seasons.
Everyone was just guessing. Everyone was just guessing what the score is.
I think to whom it may concern has heard.
Make sure this message reaches to whom it may concern. But no, just to talk about the game, I mean, one of the biggest games in rugby. Pirates, I think it's a derby. But Heathens were more or less, when I walked in, I'll start from when I came in, but of course you watch the whole game. They scored a try in the corner. I don't know who scored it, but Heathen scored a try in the other corner. And then you could see Heathen's players were all pumped up, just trying to tell their fans that we own this place. We own Queen's Park or something like that. Then all of a sudden the game just turned. Pirates found the second gear, the second, third, and fourth. And in no time, I think in 9 minutes, the game changed in 9 minutes. It was game, set, match, Pirates. Just break it down for us, what happened there.
I would
and
like
good enough the both of you are there.
I'd like you to plant it to Simba wakati yao. Because you mentioned the game at Kings Park, that first of all, there were two big games at Kings Park, two top-of-the-table clashes. The first one was with the Thunderbirds and the Black Pearls. Thunderbirds is number one in the rugby premiership, the women's rugby premiership, and then Black Pearls was number two. So it was probably, you could say it was the biggest clash, because since it is a league for the women, you lose one game, most likely you're not going to win the overall title. And their game was at 2 p.m. Very sluggish game, very slow game. It is played in the played in the 2 p.m. heat, so there are very many stoppages. The players were suffering, but eventually it is the 3-time defending champions who came out on top.
I want to ask as a fella, do the girls also play 80 minutes?
Yes. It's, rugby will treat the men and the women equally. So yeah, And so
I mean, in tennis, the ladies go for
play
3 sets,
and then
the guys go
in
5.
rugby, it's same ball size, same minutes, same pitch size, same everything. Yeah, so they played for 80 minutes and the Black Pearls came out on top 25-12. And I think the best rugby player Uganda has ever seen, men or women, Emily Lekuru, scored the hat-trick. She's inevitable. 2 individual plays, one out of a good team set play with Charlotte Modola. You'll see the highlights on Kawowo. And then she also provided an assist for the try that got them closer to the bonus point. It was a good a commanding display from the Black Pearls against the Thunderbirds, but overall the game for me was not from the expectation what you'd expect from this is number 1 against number 2. Then and the same can be said for Pirates and Heathens. I think Pirates they won the game, but they were third best. Heathens were second.
Who was
like
second?
Both teams played badly, and we
When
had
you say
the
both
two.
teams played badly.
No, in
We
terms,
had
in terms
the-
of
Yeah.
quality, I think.
Yeah, we had the 2 new.
As a
they've called
neutral,
them-
I saw the tries.
They
I was
called
happy
them
with
consultant coaches for Uganda, but I'm thinking it's going to be. They're going to be more hands-on than probably even
Consultants,
the
but the
coaches
actual
themselves.
coaches.
They'll probably be very, very hands-on. So the 2 new coaches for Uganda, especially the one for the men's 15s, that's supposed to help us qualify for the World Cup when we play the Africa Cup here in July. The rugby that you saw as from there, when you're thinking, I have a lot of work to do because the teams were missing tackles, they were dropping balls, the kicking contest went well, but the ball, like the counter attack, catching the ball on kick receipt and returning it was not good enough. Penalties, the teams didn't play well. And I spoke to all 4 coaches on Saturday. That is Chigongo Sewalam of Thunderbirds, Helen Koyokoyo Buteme of Black Pearls, Marvin Odongo of the Black Pirates, and Mohamed Athi of the Heathens. None of them was happy with how their teams played. 2 of them will take the result. We won. We've got the 4 points. Black Pearls got the 5. Thunderbirds and Heathens were not given room for anything, but at least Heathens got away with the losing bonus point. But if you pick out a few of those moments, I think Heathens played between maybe the 20th minute to the 40th minute, and then Pirates played, and then maybe just a bit after halftime, because there's a time when they had the bonus point within 30 minutes. Heathens had the bonus point, 3 clean tries, when Pirates didn't have any. In the 60th minute, me as a Pirates fan, had given up on the team. Said we should call the village priest and see what we can do. But it's a regular season. You can afford to lose games as long as you don't drop points in the playoffs. Then Pirates somehow woke up. I think on a normal day, as a coach like Muhammad Athi, because he has won so many championships, he was undefeated last year, won everything, then +1 in the Masters Challenge. The substitutions that he made on a normal day deliver the win. They delivered the win in the championship final last year, but they didn't work on Saturday. Pirates got one over them. They brought on Arnold Atukunda when the wingers had been struggling under the high ball. Timothy Chiga had also just come off for a yellow card, so the back 3 were not doing well. They brought on Desire Yera for Moses Ziwa, and there was that new oomph into the team, and Desire Yera ended up scoring the points that delivered the win. So overall, I would say the fans didn't get their money's worth, but there's
I
I
think
think
will
the,
take the
the
win.
fans just came for
When
W.
you talk the money is worth, I think a Pirates fan wouldn't complain really.
I think so
A
too.
common fan.
Yeah.
Forget about a fan that is analytical and all that like you. But a typical Pirates fan, a common Pirates fan, happy with victory.
Yeah,
Can you do that? But
everyone will be happy with the victory. Even me, I'm happy with that Pirates won, because
You
now
you take the win.
yeah, we are on top. Next weekend because by the 70th minute, because Pirates is playing Heathens is playing Cobbs next
next.
week, and Heathens is playing Hippos next week. Win or lose, it would have meant that next week is a must win. So now we have some breathing space against Cobbs, and now Heathens will have to face Hippos, who drew with them last season. It is a must-win game.
must
for them.
win.
It becomes very difficult.
So that they don't lose, they
They
stay in touching distance with
Yeah.
the guys who are leading.
So-
But Franklin, you were there. What did you see? Ernest has spoken about the substitution both teams made. Heathens bringing off some of their best guys, I think, when they thought the result is comfortable.
Yeah.
And then somehow things turning.
I won't think Theo was looking at managing the game. When you bring on two veteran halfbacks, when you bring on Faizo Gama and
Chris
Opa,
Lubanga.
Chris Lubanga, you want just to walk through the game, to manage the game. But what shocks me a little bit with that substitution, especially that of Gama, is that Gama is a fast ball player, you know. I don't think when you want to manage the game, you want a scrum half who plays the ball very, very fast. I think at that point, if you're looking to kill some time, I think you want a slow ball player. You know, if you want to maintain the lead, that is. But Gama is a fast ball player. I think that in a way played into the hands of Pirates.
Yeah.
You know, that fast ball. And so if you're still playing at a high tempo and you made substitution bringing on senior players, you're in a way playing into the hands of Pirates. But for me, that was the only, I think, change that equation a little bit. I think Kato and Aaron were managing the game pretty fine, for sure.
We
and
were
they were not
suffering.
and they were not out of legs.
Yeah.
We were
To be honest.
And
suffering.
I'll ask Ernest again as a father, how do these guys score 3 tries? Because rugby is also sort of like a possession game. If I have my possession, then I use it well, I can get to your end and touchdown. How do they score 3 tries without heathens even responding with a penalty or something to try and keep up with the score?
It's the same way it happened with Heathens in the first half when they scored the 3 tries. A couple of mistakes here, and then the team gets the one chance on the ball, and the momentum just keeps pushing them forward. Pirates constructed their tries a bit more. Heathens were picking up on the mistakes that Pirates have made. And remember, we started with saying that they both did play well. Teams did not play well on Saturday. We should not forget that they did not play well. So Pirates now, they get into their groove a bit. You know, they have the wind in their sail. They have their fans. They've started to find their voice. They play phase after phase after phase.
It was pretty quiet. No, it was pretty quiet. At Pirates, it's not like the fans were trying to push them.
Yeah.
I think the fans only found their voices after
After like the third try.
Yes, when it was close. When it was close, then the fans started, trying to push the guys.
So they played, tried to keep the ball. Then, of course, what made it easier was that Heathens were missing tackles.
Yeah.
You have a hooker sidestepping a fullback. Very unusual.
The guys I was with were really very neutral, and all of them were thinking that even the sponsor is praying for Pirates to win, otherwise he'll be in trouble. And I like the vibe at the end where the guys try and work out the crowd and the fans, and that is good stuff to see in our local rugby. So a lot of people think there's no value in the sport, or there's no value that a sponsor, but for you to see a community, that place was packed, and getting to Boyogere is not easy when you're coming from this other side of town. There was so much jam, but the commitment from more or less looked like a rich man's wedding because so many cars and what.
Yeah.
That shows the commitment that fans have to both teams, not just Pirates, but to both teams.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Pirates, I think Pirates has the biggest fan base, biggest, youngest fan base, and you're always going to have them there. And when they're playing at home, it feels different. And as you said, for a sponsor, you want the home team.
No, yeah, that's really proper value for money. And I saw that. For me, I felt that there were Pirates fans and Heathens fans, but overall, those were fans. Those were rugby fans. There were people who had come out for rugby, which was a good thing to see. It's just I was with a couple of guys who were really neutral. Some of them was the first time to come there, and of course things like the scoreboard were important because they didn't know what's up. But they didn't know what's up. But ultimately, what they saw, but ultimately what they saw was really something. There's a lot of stuff that you can build on from there. And for Pirates, I think for you to get people, we used to Chadon and Legends were the places for rugby, and of course the graveyard came up with Impis, but now even Kings Park is a big deal, that's
where the party is now.
Yeah, which is a very, very good thing, not just for Pirates but for rugby as well.
I would like to plug in just one more thing. You mentioned young fans, Franklin. You mentioned the graveyard Makere. I think we need to look out for Impis. I wrote a feature on the site on how Impis have refreshed. They've hit the reset button. New coach, new generation of players, and they've so far so good. They've been doing well. They won their first game by 50 points on 0, and then on Saturday they won their second game. First game was against Chambogo University. Second game against Chisubi Pacers, I think, which is attached to Chisubi University, by 76 points to 6. There's some good rugby being played by the boys at Impis. In the lower division, But we will see
You
how
always tell me Impulse's problem is the, I mean, it is a university, so one
they keep
cycle, once
yeah,
the cycle comes to an end, they have to
yeah,
start all over again.
most of these boys are in their high school vac. They played in the schools league last year, so they are in their form 6 vac. If the results are good enough, we've seen how tough getting results to go to university can be, especially in chemistry practical. We've
And
seen
it's,
how tough it can be.
You had to
You
slide
can
up.
comfortably say that after graduating from university,
I
but
finished, left the university.
now that you finish,
I
you
have
can
my
come
documents.
But just and the cheeky one that
Difficult to get in, so I hope if they can get in, then it's easy for them to go to Makerere for to the graveyard to play, and then they can be at the university longer, at the club longer, and then maybe Impis can have a longer cycle.
Yeah, maybe something that I saw and asked you about it, but I made sure we had to bring it here. So I was looking at the tables, and I was looking at it on the Hippos fans group. And of course, I was saying Hippos 1, then I know Hippos, and then Hippos 2. So, but I was lost in my head. I'm wondering, Hippos 2? I'm not, am I missing the joke or something? Eh?
The context for that is that the other year, during the transfer season, two of Hippo's best players, Timothy Mugisha, who was once MVP of the 7 Series, and then Dennis Etwao, they were Hippo's players. Then Heathens obtained them in the transfer window, but the transfer was completed outside the transfer window. Lots of legal contests here and there. You could, on any day, you'd say that transfer wouldn't go through. So they they completed the transfer. The boys had to sit out half a season, full season, and then they featured for them in the 7 Series last year and won the 7 Series. But during that time, Hippos and Hippos fans did not exactly take it on the chin. They decided to fire back, and that's how they decided to start calling Heathens as Hippos too, and that's what you're seeing on the table.
Now I get the joke. Now I get the. I was about to actually comment. I'm like, you guys, I think the graphics designer made a mistake.
Maybe.
Should be Heathens, not
You were
Hippos.
going
but
to land in somebody's gap.
I know. Ernest, thank you for that rugby brief. There were so many other results over the weekend. Maybe just go through quickly before I bring in Mr. Basketball. The other results that happened that weekend.
I don't have them on my head. I'll have to check.
Okay, you as you check for them. But I'll quickly switch up things and then go to Franklin, the Gazelles. I mean, making all of us proud. And it has been a case, I think, since the turn of COVID, that the Gazelles and the Silverbacks have done things with the bare minimum that have made us very, very proud. I think we started with the Silverbacks when they went to Kigali and things like that. We're rallying behind them. Then, of course, the Gazelles have also risen from somewhere to become a formidable team. One of the headlines, so they're saying that the Gazelles turning to Paige, of course, one of the girls on the team. But in the context of that competition, they lost only one game. That's a group game to Egypt. Swept everyone else, Burundi, Southern Sudan, our neighbors, Kenya. Got into the final.
We beat Kenya.
We beat Kenya.
We have beaten those.
Got into the final. I think Kenya is never going to win that game the moment they play the wrong anthem. But got into the final, and of course, I mean, we're still skeptical about whether we shall be able to beat Egypt. But at the end of it all, I mean, our girls very victorious and qualifying for Abidjan sometime this year, I think in August.
July, August.
Let's start with what does that victory mean to get us to, you said, the AFCON of basketball. Do we go with Egypt, or Egypt is out of it? And then when we go to, I mean, what is the going to the AFCON of basketball for ladies basketball? Is that it, or there's another step after that?
So I'll start from briefly from where this journey started. FUBA, I think in around 2013, 2012, realized that it is easier to win with the girls than with the boys, because the competition, I mean the men's competition is very, very, very tough. So it was important that you start investing in girls basketball. And obviously the fruits were not realized immediately, much as we qualified for the 2015 AfroBasket. But after that, it was clear that it is easier to get the girls team to the highest level before the boys, and the investment.
Looking
was-
like every sport,
That's true for
even
every
cricket
sport
as
in
well.
Uganda, and rugby also.
If you invest in the ladies, they may take you to the to the holy grail
very quickly.
faster than the men.
Yeah, and when that happened, the fruits were realized actually immediately after COVID. The girls have been competing at the high level, and when the country started to get some girls into U.S. colleges, that was the game changer, and right from that point, when you have 3 or 4 girls on the team who have experienced the best basketball schools in the
3
world.
girls, give us names.
You're talking Melissa
names
Kulu,
to
you're
that,
talking the MVP, Jenna Cindy, you're talking obviously Paige. These are
Jamila Nancy Kombi.
Jamila Nancy Kombi.
Popularly known as Zama.
Zama, yes, Zama. Girls have played in the NCAA, and that is the
How
highest.
many girls on that team play in our local
in our-
league?
in our
Apart
local
from Axie, I think all of us know Axie.
Yes. Obviously, the point guard plays here, Shakia Namvia, the 2 young girls from St. Noah High School who were part of the team.
Shakira plays for which?
She was at UCU, she's now at JT Jaguars.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Becky Longom.
Becky Longom plays here for JKL. Shira Lamunu is at UCU. These girls, most of these girls.
Sheila, not Claire.
Claire completed. Shira
Okay.
Lamunu, the guard. She plays here at UCU. So it is a blend of girls who have been outside and the local guys. The most important thing, I think, the most common thing is that even the girls who play locally are almost at the same level. They blend in properly with the girls have been friends because of, I think, the camp that they had in Germany last year. They had a training camp in Germany that brought all these girls together. It was the first time Paige was playing with the team or was getting in a training camp with the team. And
I would like to understand how things work in basketball because, and I think it's the same thing with cricket. Because us in rugby, you're a Ugandan. If you've not played for any other country and you have Ugandan roots, you can play for Uganda. But in basketball and I think also in cricket, we have very many. I'm seeing guys who they're not exactly Ugandan. Maybe the attachment to Uganda is not there, but you're free to play for Uganda. How does it work?
it is
You're asking how does Paige qualify to play
How
for
does
Uganda?
Paige qualify to play for Uganda? We've already given her a Ugandan name, no?
Yeah.
But I would like to know how
So,
she qualifies to play for us.
You can be a Ugandan citizen by government laws, by I think by
By
3
birth,
by naturalization, and
Descent?
and decent, yes.
yes. So the players who you think who are not born in Uganda, they are being naturalized as Ugandans, so they qualify. You choose a competitive advantage if you think that you need some help at the guard or at the shooting, and there is a player who is available to turn or to be given a passport, be Ugandan, you reach out and then they become Ugandan. But also, obviously, some players reach out to Uganda. Now, what happens with basketball is that because of the rules for competition, especially in Europe, the Euro competitions allow a maximum of 2 players, foreign players. So for you to be able to get a professional contract in Europe, you have to be coming from a FIBA kind of country, where you're not regarded as an American. Euro teams allow only 2 Americans, basically. So for players like Paige,
Remember
So it's
Yanon
it's
Otto.
easy for Paige to get a team in Europe
Yes.
because now she'll be categorized as a Ugandan. Okay, makes
and
sense. That's a good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, players like this also become indebted to play for the country when they
Yeah.
have to perform, because one, they are not just playing for the country, but they're also playing for the next contract.
And the good thing is that when you see it's not just they're not just bringing someone; they're bringing someone really adds value.
They fit in. I
Yeah,
remember
they fit in
properly.
exactly. I
you
think that's the right
mentioned
word.
Egypt beating us here, and I remember we watched Yanon Otto here. She's unplayable. She's very, very good. And now we have another one. We have Paige Robinson. The stocks
The
are going
Ugandan
up.
name, we want a Ugandan name. Paige Robinson, we want a Ugandan name for her. Maybe you guys can help us find a Ugandan name for her.
Probably the basketball guys have already got one.
Yeah.
Honest.
But Franklin, please continue.
So what
on this
happens?
journey and path, where does Uganda go and how far can they go?
I think at this level, first of all, qualifying without all of the best players for Uganda, you won't realize that Lydia Babidi wasn't okay. Every other player who is in season right now in the NCAA and other junior colleges in the US was not part of these qualifiers. You're talking Lydia Babidi, who was immense in Kigali. You're talking Diana Letaro at Grayson. You're talking about Mary Amanio at UTEP, Abby Priscilla at UTEP. We have a number of girls who are currently playing in college and cannot be released during the season.
I hope they will be available for Abidjan.
Yes. It is going to happen in the off-season, so all the best players will be available for Uganda to choose. That's why...
good headache for Nick.
That's a good problem
for Nick, yeah. Good headache for him.
It's going to be hard. And given how even just the local players have done at Egypt, you cannot overlook them. So that training camp for AfroBasket is going to be massive.
All right, and then at AfroBasket, what are we coming up against? And what if you win? If we go all the way, what is the reward for us? Is it the World Cup?
Is there money?
Obviously, there is money.
I saw money. The girls get a locker room bonus from the team sponsors. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. 185K. It's about $50, I think, for each.
Yeah. But getting the AfroBasket championship, actually, top 2 gets you into the World Cup. That is so basically playing at AfroBasket.
What are our chances against? We are playing in our zone is zone 5, right?
Yes.
So there are teams that are going to come from other zones.
Yeah,
yes. Is zone 5 because we are the 5th best zone or the region just?
No, it is just the division of FIBA Africa.
Okay.
How the zones were divided. Obviously, Angola came from the zone down south.
Okay.
Obviously, Rwanda qualified for being third in the last tournament. The top 3 qualified automatically from the previous tournament. That's why if anybody was wondering why they were not in Egypt, they qualified automatically for finishing third last time. And obviously, there are going to be teams coming out of West Africa. Cameroon qualified already. Of course, Senegal and Nigeria, who were winners and runners-up, qualified already. And then there are 2 zones that haven't played their qualifiers yet.
Okay. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think our chances will be if we get to AfroBasket?
We are at AfroBasket.
I think the experience is good. The experience is good gotten because the bulk of the players that are going to be there were part of the tournament in Rwanda and have been part of the team for
refresh my mind. Where did you finish in Rwanda?
6th.
6th.
Yes.
Okay.
Best finish ever. We could have gotten into the semi-finals, but Jenna Sinde gets injured at the crucial time when they're playing Rwanda, and
the story of Ugandan sport. Yeah.
But I think this year is going to be very, very different. I'm optimistic. Every basketball fan should be optimistic for that tournament, given the experience that the girls have encountered.
Would not be fair if we don't talk about. And I saw another newspaper headline that said, "The man, the myth, the legend of Nick has been around with UCU forever." I don't know if he will ever leave that place, but he's been with UCU forever. He's been I think he's the national technical director for FUBA.
Yes.
And now stepping into the big role after the departure of the previous coach. Yeah. I mean, please just say something about Nick and this achievement.
So, Nick Natwells gets done with playing in 2007, I think. Yes, 2007. He gets into coaching. Obviously, as a young coach, you have a lot to learn. Between when he started coaching and now, it is nearly coming to 15 years. That is a lot of experience that has gathered. And the consistency that has shown, winning multiple championships with the UCU ladies, coming to, I think, 3 finals with the UCU Cannons, the men's team. This is a guy who has crafted his coaching, who is committed to the game. And for me, when he gets an achievement like this, it just elevates, it makes me extremely happy for the lad who has been a servant of the game this entire time. You know, he has been around as the assistant coach for the ladies. Even when times are tough, he's the guy who they are going to step in and kind of clean the net.
Be trusting our guys more.
Did it look like he was stepping in this time? Because if the coach hadn't left to get another team, I think would have stuck with the same, no?
Yeah, but he was the assistant. He was the assistant.
He was the assistant.
To Antuna.
Should we bring someone else or we keep?
No, I'm content with Nick. What people forget is that
We have a habit of always thinking that our guys cannot take us to the next level.
Yeah, Mr. Dennis Musali of cricket.
no,
We
but
had our
Throwing
man
stones when I live in a glass house.
no, but what has happened is that
to the World Cup, Mr. Musali.
Nick has seen most of the girls on the team from a young age, and has coached some of the actually most of them at UCU, so he understands them. Okay, he has seen all the girls that are on team have come from the league here before they even went to college, so he understands the girls so well, and the qualifications are good enough.
Okay. Shout out to the Gazelles. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done.
making us proud in Cairo. Sometimes when you get to those facilities as well, you're thinking that I've always felt that you have no right to beat a team that has better facilities. than you. Uganda sport likes to work a lot on heart. Mutima. I'm like, no, that Mutima has a limit.
I have some hope, given how quick the construction is going for, like with in preparations for AFCON.
Yeah.
2027, we have stadiums popping up. The government is saying we're going to do this, we're going to do this. The athletics guys are happy. Their facility, I think, got completed at least for people to train from there. If the Mugati at Lugogo, they from the architecture drawings that we saw, the stadium which was called the Chigati at Lugo, if it gets completed, then we have the right to start rubbing
exactly.
shoulders with
We're
the big
going to
people.
start. We're going to start pushing the envelope as well because
I'm
we have the
thinking in
facility.
cricket there's a facility in
talk
Kamengo. Yeah.
You talk completed like work has already started. There's nothing. Don't talk about completing. If it starts, actually, from the rumors from the corridors that work is supposed to start in June, July
Of this year.
Yes.
At Lugogo.
At Lugogo, yes.
Yeah, but I think we'll be happy with. We've seen what Suma is doing in Hoima,
Yeah,
so I
excellent
think
work.
we are very confident that we shall have something very nice coming up. But guys, the producer is not happy. We are.
I think this is the first time at we bonus. It's the first time. Maybe tomorrow. Next time we'll keep time
We're giving
because we
him-
need to speak about cricket. No.
Yeah, I'm thinking cricket because the two games that we've won so far are the ones that we expected to win, really, Singapore and Bahrain. I'm thinking next Monday we'll have a better conversation because the next two games that are coming up are the ones that the team really actually needs to win.
Yeah.
These two wins were really expected. Bahrain and Singapore. 8-wicket win, and then on the first game won by 52 runs. So those are really games we're excited to win. But the next two games are the ones that could turn the fortunes of the cricket cranes. But that is Wednesday and Thursday. Those two games are very important.
Are you positive, given how?
Yeah, the boundaries are very small. That's a bit of the worry. And these are very teams that are very. It's not so much to separate them. So we'll have to score big. But finally, Raghav Dhawan is showing up with the runs. 2 back-to-back play of the match performances for him. To be a good morale boosting, lift up for him, and hopefully he can carry on with the good form. But now you normally judge good players when they come up against good teams. If you're scoring against, if you can score those runs against the good teams, then we'll start judging you different. But for now, those are wins that were really expected. But in those two games, that is where the business has to be done. They went to Hong Kong for just those two games. The others just
We shall be here on Monday.
most definitely. Like Anes has said, we shall be here on Monday. I've had Anes Takorebirunji, our resident rugby expert, as well as the editor of Kawowo Sports, Mr. Franklin Kawero, who's been giving us insights about the Gazelles winning in
Abidjan,
Cairo.
we're coming.
Abidjan, we're coming. Is that a message to the boss? I know what you're saying.
On y va. Let us start practicing some French.
The boss has approved. Kawero is in things already.
So Kawowo, in July, when we are shooting weekly Wowos, you will not be here.
Talk to me nicely.
You will be on Zoom.
There's a joke Mike was taking around. Por favor.
Por favor, Montoya, por favor.
Please work on your French because you need it when you get to Abidjan.
Abidjan.
But that has been it for us this
Jimna
week
is
on
my friend. Jimna is my friend.
Jim. You're going to use Google to get around.
Yeah.
Maybe Raymond got a
Frequent
bit of French.
traveler,
Yeah,
one of
frequent
our
traveler.
producers.
One of our producers. He can help you.
Has media language.
But that has been our first episode of, for this week, we'll call it
Weekly Wowos.
Weekly Wowos. I don't, if you think we can do better with the name, but the Gen Zs for now are picked Weekly Wowos. We'll be back next week with some, featuring again the best stories on Kawowo Sports. Tell us what you think about the show. What did you read that you want more context on? Who do you want to see? Maybe you've read a story from Sharifa and you don't know who Sharifa is. We'll get her here, don't worry. But I'll thank you guys. Thank you for popping in every Monday. I know not very easy, but thank you for making time.
Monday is our weekend.
But and the guys behind the scenes as well, Fred and Raymond. Good job, guys, and we'll see you again next week.